Well, hello. I knew you'd show up. I just wanted to take a second to let you know that you are my favorite viewer. I think we have something special going on here. Can you feel it? I can see what you're wearing. Last week, or maybe it was the week before, I did a video about the fat cats of the GMRS industry lying about security codes on their radios. But the other day, while doing more research on the GMRS industry, I discovered an even bigger conspiracy, larger than even I could have imagined. I learned that these fat cats, these 1%ers of the GMRS manufacturing industry, have been spreading these lies, this conspiracy, for over 150 years. Some online conspiracy theorists claim that the GMRS industry has been perpetrating this big lie for upwards of 200 years. But we know that's just silly. We all know that the GMRS industry didn't really get a foothold in the United States until 150 or 160 years ago. Anyway, I'm going to expose these lies in this YouTube-only exclusive video. Hang on to your socks so they don't get knocked off. Now, as big as these conspiracies, these lies are, there's only a couple of items to go over that I'll explain. So this video should be short. I'll keep it to the point as long as I don't veer off topic and waste your time. But if you've watched my videos before, you know I would never intentionally waste your time. I have too much respect for you as a viewer, my favorite viewer. I don't waste your time with stupid intros and music and graphics like those other YouTubers do. They don't respect you like I do. You feeling it? I don't beg you to subscribe or ask you to click the join button to support my channel. The join button that's right below, right down there, that when you click it and join, you support my channel. I would never do that because your time is too valuable and I respect you as a viewer too much. So let's get started. But first, allow me to veer off topic for just a moment. A very smart man was once quoted as saying, I don't remember who it was. It might have been Albert Einstein, maybe Isaac Newton. I don't remember. Somebody will leave a comment and correct me. This very smart man, this genius, has a very famous quote. You've probably heard it. It says, "The comment section on YouTube is like a zoo for idiots and morons." Now, if you watch my channel, you know that we have none of that here. Stupid comments, dickhead comments, know-it-all comments, smarter-than-thou comments, people expressing their opinions that we all know nobody cares about. Those comments, we pin them to the top. I pin them to the top for everybody to see so nobody misses them, so we can all make fun of them because they're stupid. But the hateful comments, the really mean, over-the-top comments, I just delete those. But I've noticed something odd about the people that leave the really hateful, over-the-top comments. These are the overly hateful ones, mean-spirited, from terrible people usually, that say how my videos are stupid and I'm just a clown. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm an idiot. I'm a moron. Blah, blah, blah. But what I've noticed is that the majority of these comments, these overly hateful comments, come from a handful of people. The same people. These 5 or 10 people keep leaving comments on every new video that I post. So these people that hate me so much watch every one of my videos and then take the time to type up often multiple page mean-spirited comments. I think I know what's going on here. It's obvious. Deep down in their broken little souls, they are secretly in love with me. And their broken little psyches just don't know how to express it in a healthy way. Now I can hardly wait to see the new comments from my true fans. I'm getting all tingly inside. I'm going to be reading from my notes here. You may see me put on my glasses a few times because I don't want to miss anything or get anything wrong. So what I've noticed, what I've discovered while looking through information on looking up GMRS radio information to either buy or as I was doing my GMRS related research, I've noticed that some manufacturers use very deceptive tactics to try to trick you into thinking that their radio is better than their competitor's radio. Now, this is normal. A lot of companies do this. But what I discovered is that some of these tactics are over the top. It's a conspiracy or just bad marketing. Some manufacturers do it more than others. One manufacturer really goes over the top. Now, I don't want to point out any manufacturer's names because I don't want to get into any trouble, but really you can just look up, do any research, go look on Amazon and search up GMRS radios and you'll start seeing the pattern. So although I won't say their name of the most egregious offenders, I will say that one of them rhymes with Midland. Other GMRS radio manufacturers, even though they're still part of the GMRS cartel that we all know about, like Ocean and B-Tech, they don't do it so much. I couldn't find in my research where they did it at all. Maybe they do, but I couldn't find it. So the first item is privacy codes. Now, I just did a video a few weeks ago about privacy codes. I don't want to rehash that entire video. If you don't understand what privacy codes are, or if, like many morons posted in comments on that video, if you think you know what they are, and you clearly don't, watch that video on privacy codes on GMRS and FRS radios. That video explains in detail how the privacy codes work and why they aren't private. But for the purposes of this video, this is one of the lies, privacy codes on GMRS and FRS radios. So let me be clear. Privacy codes on GMRS or FRS radios are not private. There's no such thing as privacy on GMRS or FRS radios. It is actually against FCC rules to encrypt or scramble your transmissions in any way. Privacy codes or sub-channels are literally the opposite of private. Watch that video if you haven't already on privacy codes. It will blow your mind. All right, now the second big conspiracy that the GMRS industry is perpetrating on us victims is 50-channel GMRS radios, 100-channel GMRS radios, 250-channel GMRS radios. And if you look at the box or the Amazon ad or the web page, usually nothing is said about all those channels. They don't specify what those channels are for. So somebody who doesn't know anything about GMRS radios, these are the people they're going after. These are the people they're targeting for their conspiracy. The people that don't know, the first-time buyer. So I'm here to protect the first-time buyer. I'm watching out for you. Nowhere is it explained on a lot of these boxes or ads. It just says 50 channels, 100 channels. So the average person that doesn't know any better might think, wow, I can talk on 100 or 200 or 250 channels. This is a 250 channel radio. I'd better buy it because that's better than only 22 channels, right? 200, 100, 200, 250 is better than 22. So let's be clear on this. The FCC allows only 22 channels for GMRS or FRS. Period. There are no such thing as sub-channels, which gets into that privacy code and privacy channel conspiracy that I mentioned in the other video. And there are 8 additional channels on repeater-capable radios that are set aside for repeaters, and those technically aren't even additional channels because they share channels with the 22 channels. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, a GMRS radio cannot legally have any more than 30 channels, 22 regular GMRS channels, 8 repeater channels. That's it. So we're just going to say 30 channels max. So if you see on the box anything that says or infers any more than 30 channels, that manufacturer is trying to trick you, and they hope that you don't understand what those other channels are for and that you cannot transmit on them. They're trying to prey on your ignorance, and they're hoping that you're going to fall for it. I'm here to protect you. You're welcome. So let's take a closer look at the details of one of the ads. You can go look it up and find it on Amazon. Again, I'm not going to say the manufacturer's name, but it rhymes with Midland. These walkie-talkies feature 50 GMRS General Mobile Radio Service channels. Now, how would you interpret that? These GMRS walkie-talkies feature 50 GMRS channels. A normal person might think that means I got 50 channels to talk on. That is not the case. Now, some manufacturers clarify. They'll say 50 channel or 100 channel GMRS radio, but some manufacturers, the honest members of the GMRS cartel, will clarify what that means. If you look at one of the cheap Baofeng, Baofeng, I don't know the difference, Baofeng, $29 GMRS radio, it says channels 30 GMRS, that we know is true, plus 11 NOAA weather channels, plus 220 scanner channels. Now that is very clear. There's no, and they don't hide this, it's right there. 30 GMRS channels, 11 NOAA channels, 220 scanner channels. When the manufacturers are saying their radio has 200 channels or whatever, anything more than 30 channels, those channels are for NOAA, other VHF or UHF channels that you can scan through and listen to, like ham bands and whatever. So they do have 200 or 100 or whatever it says channels you can store and listen to, but you can't transmit on them, as some people might assume you could do when it's not clarified, the way that Baofeng, the cheapest radio manufacturer out there, does by clearly saying 30 GMRS, 11 NOAA, and 220 scanning channels. Whereas the other manufacturers, I won't say their name, it's the one that rhymes with Midland, they just allow you to maybe assume that you can talk on all those channels because they don't specify. Or if they do specify what those channels are for, it's in the fine print or somewhere where I couldn't find it. Now let's go back to the unnamed brand that rhymes with Midland. Let's go back to their description of some of their radios. This is for one of their $40 GMRS walkie-talkies. It says, waterproof. Great. I can drop it in the lake and it's fine, right? Because it's waterproof. No. When you read further down in the smaller print, away from the big waterproof words, it says, the JIS-4 waterproof protection prevents splashing water from having any harmful effect on it. Parentheses, splash resistant. On the box in the ad, it says waterproof. Down here, it says splash proof. Now to me, and probably to anyone that speaks English, waterproof and splash proof are not the same thing. Let's continue on. Read more of the description. 36-mile range. Longer range communication in open areas with little or no obstruction. So an average person might take that to mean, great. So if I'm driving on the open highway, I can talk to my friend driving in his car 36 miles away, right? It's a lie. A lot of the radio manufacturers do this. The bubble wrap or bubble pack radio manufacturers, the FRS, the little cheap Walmart walkie-talkies that you find, they're really bad at this. They almost all do this. And while in the best possible conditions, you might get 36 miles out of these radios talking to each other, like on the ocean with nothing but water. But actually, no, not even on the ocean, because 36 miles is such a far distance. You're going to have the curvature of the Earth. And as we all know, UHF frequencies, the radio waves do not go around the curvature of the Earth. UHF is what GMRS and FRS are on. So not even on the open ocean would you get 36 miles. You would have to be on a mountain and have a clear view of your friend and his radio 36 miles away directly with nothing in between you to ever get a 36-mile range between these radios. It is very unlikely that there is any scenario ever anywhere in any universe where you would actually, in the real world, talk 36 miles on one of these radios. In the real world, where I live, where most of you live, you're lucky if you'll get a half a mile range out of these radios if you're in your car on the highway talking, because you're in an enclosed Faraday cage metal box, and your friend in his car behind you is also in a metal box. If you're outside hiking with nothing in between you, not a lot of trees, no hills, no mountain or anything, you might get 1 or 2 miles range. When I do reviews of handheld GMRS radios, I have my worst case scenario, which isn't that bad of a scenario of testing. That's me driving from my house up to about a mile away with a little bit of hills and some trees and a couple of buildings. And in that situation, I'm almost never able to get more than 1 mile out of any handheld radio that I've tested. So real world, that 36-mile radio, some of them say 12 miles or 9 miles. Those are the lower power ones. You're lucky if you get 1 or 2 miles out of them. Now, to be fair, at the bottom of one of the ads, I did find a little pictograph, infograph demonstrating the distances that you'll get. And that clarifies it a little, although I think the partial obstruction range is a little bit generous. At least they clarify that somewhat, unlike some of the previous points I've mentioned. These are all just another example of the conspiracy that the GMRS cartel, the bigwigs, the fat cats, the top of the chain, are trying to fool you and take advantage of you. Don't be fooled. That's why I'm here. I'm here to make sure you don't get fooled, because remember, you are my favorite viewer. You now know about the big conspiracy. It's been going on for hundreds of years. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. As I mentioned, stupid comments, dickhead comments, know-it-all comments, rude, mean, nasty comments. We know what those mean. All the comments that are just idiot comments, those are going to get pinned to the top. So if you haven't already, if you want some good entertainment, go through some of the previous videos of mine. Look for the pinned comment, and they change. Because just when you think you've seen the stupidest comment possible from the biggest moron out there, guess what? A better moron comes along and tops him. It's always fun and entertaining to see what the idiots and morons in the zoo that is known as the comment section on videos have to say.